All right, so now I'm competing with the chicken, it sounds like. Yeah, okay, I get it. So I hope you all have had a fantastic morning. Has it been good? All right, how is the food? Okay, good. All right, nobody should be fasting today. So we got that covered. So hopefully everybody is eating, enjoying yourselves, and I hope you've gotten a lot out of this morning, but also the next few hours. We obviously have a big afternoon planned as well, and certainly just a reminder that Dr. David Dijek is going to be closing us with the National Environmental Health Association, so you don't want to miss that. It looks like we've got a lot of people here, and we are going to go ahead and get started. Just a couple of housekeeping. I want to remind you that we are on social media, so please use the hashtag FSS2019, hashtag FSS for Food Safety Summit 2019. Also, there are some folks that are, you may have seen them, this floor and the floor below, that are doing health department surveys. And if they grab you for just a minute, we're being told it actually takes somewhere between 2 and 4 minutes. If it depends on how quickly you answer the question. You might be able to do it in about 90 seconds. We'll leave that to you. But 2 to 4 minutes, and if you could really help us, because we want to get some feedback from you about our department and also about health in our community. So with that, it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce our next speaker. She is the first woman and first Latina elected Harris County judge. And I'm going to go ahead, Judge, if you want to go ahead and just have a seat up here, and I'm going to read the rest of this, if you don't mind, for those who may not know. Judge Lina Hidalgo was born in Colombia, grew up in Peru and Mexico before job opportunities brought her parents to the United States in 2005. She graduated from Stanford University with a degree in political science. The same year, she became a U.S. citizen. Since arriving in Texas, Judge Hidalgo has been committed to giving back. She has worked at the Texas Civil Rights Project, served as a medical interpreter at the Texas Medical Center, and while pursuing a joint degree, I love this, a joint degree in law and public policy at NYU and Harvard. So a joint degree at two universities. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's called overachievement.
Look who's speaking.
Yeah. Judge Hidalgo researched criminal justice policies and coordinated with advocacy groups and governments to push for reform. She was elected on November 6, 2018, and sworn in as Harris County Judge on January 1st, 2019. Please join me in welcoming to the stage, and now with me, Judge Lina Hidalgo. Thank you so much. Thank you. Absolutely.
Hello. Good morning. As I was preparing for this this morning, I got so hungry just thinking about all the incredible food that you guys represent. So it's a joy to be here with all of you guys. Thank you for what you do for our communities to keep our region thriving and delicious. Thank you. We are here celebrating really diversity in a way. It's your diverse establishments that make us who we are, and celebrating that diversity is something we're trying to do at the county as well. So we're working to lift up that diversity, to highlight it, to really use that as a strength. For example, the census is something we're looking at very closely. We need to make sure that we count each and every person in every community. Our region, because it's so diverse, is full with quote-unquote hard-to-count populations, folks that are hard to reach because of language access, because they're not used to interacting with the authorities. And so for the first time, Harris County is making an investment that is commensurate to the hard-to-count population we have, and we're very excited about that. And that'll help, of course, make sure that we have an adequate assessment of who all lives here, that we have our share of federal funds, because they're all based on population, hundreds of billions of dollars. We're working on voting access too, just yesterday at Commissioner's Court, making sure that people can vote at any location on election day, so they don't have to wait until they, drive from work or picking up the kids back to their polling location near their home and show up when it's too late. And it's again about lifting up really each and every perspective in our community and making sure that everybody has that access to government. And a thriving community depends also on economic opportunity. And that economic opportunity that builds on the work you guys do and supports the work you guys do. So we're opening the first Office of Economic Opportunity in Harris County, and we're right now in the process of staffing it up with the best people and learning lessons from across the country. And this office will work on tax incentives, job training, anything, creative approaches to make sure that our region remains competitive. A thriving region means safety as well. I know it's raining outside, and I'm so happy that so many of you were still able to make it today, but flooding's a big challenge. And so we're working also on figuring out how we speed up the flood bond projects so that those are done faster than slated. We're working to understand the challenge holistically, figure out how we're gonna put down a benchmark and track our progress toward that benchmark. And in the process, right now, hundreds of millions of dollars in flood control projects that are moving all throughout Harris County, detention basins that hold hundreds of Olympic swimming pools worth of water, channel widenings, deepenings, all of that information is online, and we're really working to share it with the community so that we can all be confident and share with everyone in our community that the work is being done, that it's a big challenge, and we live in a region that's vulnerable to flooding, but we've got people committed finally to put the funding necessary to tackle the challenge and to do it as quickly as we possibly can. And of course, government can't do all. We've been built on individual achievement, on a spirit of creativity and individual perseverance. But one place where government is necessary really is food safety, is making sure that every person in our community is safe also and can count on their food being safe. And that's, of course, what the Harris County Public Health Department Environmental Public Health section does, is work with thousands of establishments like yours and over 20 cities that don't have their individual food safety folks to enforce the standards and to make sure that our food is safe. And there we need your partnership. And the goal is, of course, not to make it harder for the food industry to thrive. It's to make sure that there's a level playing field so that those who cut corners aren't at an advantage, and that those who play by the rules and are safe and use the technology are in that level playing field. Ultimately, it's about making sure that our region remains the culinary capital of the South. And that is what you guys are working on and are helping do in partnership with us. Because I think you guys know as well as we do that food safety is good for people as well as good for business. And that's why we're doing all this work. I know this is the 5th iteration of the food safety in this annual event. And part of it is to have that dialogue that we're trying to build in county government between the work we're doing, the policy work we're doing, and the folks who are affected by that policy work. So I know a lot of you guys at your table have inspectors, so you can ask questions. And I hope, I'll be here answering questions as well. We really generally all throughout the county, and I'm very proud to see this work from Dr. Shaw and his team as well, is building those closer relationships. We want to learn from you guys. We want to make sure you're informed, and we want to work in partnership to continue building a better community. So I'll stop it there. I do know that there is an initiative that Harris County Public Health has launched on making sure, just as there is food deserts and hunger in our communities, there's also a lot of food that ends up in landfills. And so they're working to match supply and demand. And so, Dr. Shah, the name of the program, Take Out Hunger. So if you guys are already signed up for Take Out Hunger, Great, thank you. And if you're not, please listen out for that so that you can make sure that your extra food goes to the different groups that the county's connected with, so that we're connecting, people to that food. So I just want to say thank you to the Public Health Department, Dr. Shaw, for putting this together. Thank you to each of you for being here and for the work you do for our community, for keeping it just an incredible, diverse region as it is. And I so look forward to answering any questions you guys have. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Hidalgo, for that really thoughtful way of looking at food safety in our community. And let me go ahead and invite, as I'm speaking, Michael Schaefer back up to the stage, and Deanna Copeland, who is our manager for our Food and Neighborhood Nuisance Program and is the guru of food safety. In fact, we brought Deanna up here because she has all the answers. I just want to be very honest. Anything that the judge and I cannot answer, we're going to turn to Michael. And when Michael cannot answer it, because there will be a when, we will turn it to Deanna. So we got that. But I want to just start by saying thank you to Judge Hidalgo for being here. This is our 5th annual summit. And really, in just several months of being our county judge, she has both shown leadership, but has also been very engaged in the whole prospect of transparency, as well as really the health and safety of our community. And Judge, you did make a comment that I want to just highlight. You said the culinary capital of the South. So I'm going to start with a couple of questions for me. How do you think about that? You have food establishments here. You obviously have folks that are a part of restaurants and what they do to serve, to be part of that culinary capital of the South. How do you really intersect in your mind what businesses are trying to do with what government is also trying to do for the betterment of our community?
Yeah, thank you. And I'll say happy to answer questions, food related or not. So y'all, whatever you guys have questions on. I think it's about, continuing to build those partnerships. I want to make sure we're doing everything we can so that the people with the great ideas about a new establishment, a new fusion type of food, or something that might be missing in a community, have the tools they need to carry that vision forward. And it really permeates so many aspects of county government. I mean, you can do that better when your house is not vulnerable to flooding, when your establishment's not vulnerable to flooding, when you have a trained workforce. And so that's why we're looking into early education opportunities, and we're looking at economic opportunities. You can do that a lot better when you have adequate transportation systems. And so we're really looking at the full picture here at the county coming in, is how can we pull all of these different levers? And I think that the first 6 months we were there was a lot about really beginning with individual initiatives, and then now we're looking more holistically. And so that's where I think events like these, like the town halls we've done, it's about learning from folks, where they think there may be a hang up and a kink. But truly, I see our role as facilitating the creativity and the knowledge that is out there in our community.
Fantastic, thank you. So I'm going to ask for the Slido questions.
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah.
Get out your phones, and if you have any questions, go ahead and put those on Slido.
Thank you. I told you there was somebody markedly more responsible up here than myself, and I do not mean Judge Hidalgo, because she obviously is. I was talking about my team as well. So, Judge, you talked about engagement, and as you know, our cornerstone values at the Health Department are innovation, engagement, and equity. Can you speak to that engagement piece of really how to really engage the entirety of our community and not just certain segments that may have more access to perhaps getting information to policymakers or elected officials or department officials like us?
Well, it's about showing up to the community. When we came in, normally there's some sort of transition process, right? When you get into government and you bring people in a room and sort of sharing ideas about what the policies are going to look like and what the priorities are going to look like. And so we decided to do that as an open transition process. So we did 7 town halls in different parts of town where we had, hundreds of people at each one. We did a survey, 11,000 respondents.
Wow.
And one of the things we asked was, what would lead you, what level of government do you engage with most and why? And what would lead you to engage with county government more? And so we found that people engage with their schools, their school board, because they know how to access that. And with the county, they just, folks want to understand exactly what the county does, and they want to have, easier access to county government. So we're really working on showing up, showing up to our communities, thinking about how we can be closer rather than asking everyone to come downtown. So as we envision, for example, the future of our justice system, making sure that we eventually build, and we're working with our juvenile judges on that for now, presence out in the precincts, not just in downtown Houston, continuing the town halls, continuing those lessons, but ultimately, it's a slow buildup. It also comes with language access, and so that's part of what we're doing, what I'm doing. I can speak 2 languages, so I try those 2 and then try and have that access on everything we do.
Thank you for that. And I should have mentioned this, that my contact lenses aren't doing too well today, so I am going to probably be looking at others on the stage to be able to help me decipher what this. Can we make the font just
I can see it, so I can pick some if they pick. I think it's all what's the county doing or the city doing for the next storm. It went away.
It went away on the screen.
But they said, what's the city doing to prepare for the next storm? Something like that. So I'll say one thing that is important for folks to understand. So the city takes care of the drainage, getting the water from the streets into the storm sewers to the bayous and channels. The county does the bayous and the channels, so a lot of the widening and deepening of that to then convey that out into the bay. We're working very closely together, which has never happened before. So our flood control district and the city's drainage folks talk pretty much every day, every other day at most. And some of what we're doing yesterday at court, for example, we approved negotiations for the county to take over some open drainage that the city, is not as good as keeping up with, and then the city is taking over the county's culverts, some of the box culverts that we're not as good at keeping up with. Ultimately, we need more coordination. You can see the progress at our Harris Thrives website. So harristhrives.org, it's got basically a map of all of the 230 some odd projects that are slated, the 140 that are currently moving, and then the federal dollars. We just finally, Congress is finally moving through the last billion that they promised, but we already have hundreds of millions locally that we've been working on. And so you can see all of that, what the funds are that are coming, where they're going, and what all the projects are as far as the county at harristhrives.org.
Yeah, now we can actually, that was the reason I couldn't see it. It was actually
really small.
Markedly small.
Yeah, so what's your favorite meal?
Yeah, we'll ask her about her favorite meal in a second. The question is really about the county plan on supporting small mom and pop type of businesses, because it is so competitive with both big business, but also there's so many small establishments. How can the county support potentially small business?
So that's the question really at the heart of our Office of Economic Opportunity, and we want the answer. We're not sure right now, and part of what we're building is and mom and pop businesses for food, but also smaller businesses more generally. So we are starting an analysis of where county business goes. The first is we want to collect data for even the business that the county puts out. Does it go to minority and women-owned businesses? Does it go to small businesses? Who does it go to? And then once we figure out those disparities, how can we do better? And so that has been the task of the Office of Economic Opportunity, and I welcome folks' ideas. We have several things in the pipeline, but it's something that finally we're getting to, and it's never too late, but we're really in a hurry to tackle that.
What business, just on that economic opportunity concept, there's a question about what business opportunities do you really want to see in the future of Harris County?
Business opportunity do you want to bring for Harris County? Yes, so we have to, different things. So for example, we see when we talk about our port and the incredible jobs that we have related to the port, there's a mismatch there on there's not enough supply for the demand that exists. And so that's where job training is really what we need to do, more so than job creation. And it's teaching these students that these incredible professions exist that pay very well, and putting them into that pipeline. So we're working very hard on that. Partnering also with the city, with Rice University, on more technology type jobs. And so where the old Sears building was, we're in conversations about how we encourage that. You know, we're closely watching Austin, and we want to make sure that that kind of technology, new economy comes here. But I think that ultimately, you know, we continue to grow. We're doing something right. It's a matter of continuing to feed that engine, and so that's what we're focused on, not putting a damper on it by overlooking the safety needs of our region. And so in my mind, just as, you know, folks flood enough times, they're not going to want to, you know, they're going to want to live somewhere else. Same with businesses. And so that's why I'm so committed to communicating the work that we're doing. It's not just about doing it, but sharing with the community and the businesses that we are doing, so there's confidence in the future of our region. Continuing to look at affordable housing, transportation, so it's a place where people want to live, where businesses want to come and set up shop and really continue building.
Thank you for that. And there's a food safety related question about, and you know, I know Michael and Deanna are going to certainly want you to answer this one. Do you think people take the importance of food safety for granted?
Absolutely. I think people just assume, you know, that it's so funny. So we saw there's a Kinder Institute survey that goes out annually. And so 2 years ago, the #1 issue people listed as concern was flooding. And this year, that's like, you know, 10th or 6th or whatever. Does that mean people don't care about flooding? No, it's just not on their mind until it becomes an issue. Same with this. I mean, I'm sure people don't list food safety as not one of the top 5. But the minute somebody gets sick, then it'll be #1. And so that's why our job as industry leaders, you all, and for us government leaders, is to make sure that it's never #1, you know, that we're taking care of it. And hey, it's okay if they take it for granted, but it's our job to make sure that it's okay for them to do that. And so that's why we take that responsibility very seriously. I know you do, Dr. Shaw, your team, and we take your partnership very seriously, because it really is about the safety of our people, which means the competitiveness of our region as well.
Thank you, Judge, for that. And I know in the interest of time, we just have time for, I need to end with the what is your favorite meal question, so I will ask that. But there is I don't know who asked that question, but it got a lot of likes. That's all I know. But there is a question that's a more technical question for Michael and Deanna, which is, how's the county advertising their food donation programs to schools in order to fight food insecurity among our students? And remember that about 1/4 of our population is really in food insecurity as children. So we want to make sure that so if you could help the audience with that question.
Yeah, so we just got this program, Take Out Hunger, off the ground. So in the next probably year to year and a half, you're going to start seeing a lot more. You're going to see billboard signs. You're going to see a lot of promotions. You're going to be hearing from us directly to see how you can help our program, because in the end, they're already doing this. They're already doing this in the city of Houston, but the unincorporated areas of Harris County has really been ignored. And there's a great opportunity, because as you all know, we are now larger than the city of Houston if you include the small cities. So there's real opportunity to get out there. So I would say in the next, not just hearing it from here today, but the next year to year and a half, you should be hearing it around the county.
Great. Deanna, anything you want to add?
No, just that at every inspection, our staff, we are going to be helping you. And if you need to get in contact with someone, if you have questions about our food donation program, please let them know, and we're going to connect those dots so that you can help take out the problem and take out hunger in Harris County.
Yeah, we're also what we're trying to do is there's a lot of fear in donating food because the liability issues. You know, what happens when my food leaves the restaurant? Am I still liable for it? So we're trying to answer all those questions. We're not here to try to make you fail. We're here to try to make you succeed, not just from a food safety perspective, but to actually get food donated out into the community. There's also a tax savings that people don't understand from this. And it's amazing how much food we waste just in this county. So we're going to try to educate you, because I think if you see the implication of helping those in need, as well as it can help you from a tax perspective, it's really a win-win.
Thank you for that. So Judge, what is I'm not going to ask you where your favorite meal is, but what is your favorite meal?
Yeah, it's hard to choose. So I was born in Colombia and grew up at home eating rice and beans sort of as a main dish. And so when someone first asked, what's your favorite food? And I said beans, people were like confused, you know, but I still like that, you know, rice, beans, and plantains, and chocolate. Can that be a meal? Yes, I know y'all can make it into a meal somehow. So yes, it's such a joy to be here, Dr. Shah. Thank you all so much for the work you do.
And Judge, there was a comment that was, Judge, I want to thank you for the rapid response on the ITC explosion. And I think I really just want to echo that. Michael and I, as you know, we're engaged with our team with you. We really appreciate you, the efforts of the county, and certainly our partners. And so just want to thank you for that. It's been incredible to see your leadership over just the last several months.
Thank you. That was these guys. So we were there at 3 in the morning saying, you know what? We can't just tell people it's safe. We gotta show the air monitoring results. We gotta build a website. We gotta collect our own data. And the results of our gap study should be coming back in a matter of weeks so that we can institutionalize what the county needs to do to make sure we're safe, also living with the largest petrochemical complex in this hemisphere. So a lot of work to do, but a lot of work being done. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for
Thank you, absolutely. So Judge Hidalgo is, she's got a tight, she's on her way out, but she's going to be walking, sort of meandering her way through. So I'm not going to say feel free to stop her, but I'm certainly sure that people will stop her along the way. And Judge, before you leave the podium, we have a certificate for you. Michael, you want to, Deanna, come on in?
Oh, thank you.
And basically saying, Harris County Public Health thanks you for your leadership and for being a supporter of this Food Safety Summit. Here's a little bag for you. Everybody join me again in thanking Judge Hidalgo.
Roger.